Alrighty guys, Sick Libra here. We're going to kick this off right at the very beginning. Gently Tamped is having a 1,000 subscriber giveaway. Congratulations. So I'm going to make this live stream video my video response to that. Because he wanted nothing specific, he just wanted to talk pipes. And what else would I do with a pipe hanging out of my mouth and a camera in front of my face? So we're going to open it up like that, so that if he decides that he doesn't want to watch this one, that's fine. But, mention of him in it, right at the very beginning. You don't have to watch the whole video. It's not, I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't want to watch the whole thing. Because really it's just the endless ramblings of a pipe smoker here. And one that's relatively new to the YTPC. So, what I got going is my Missouri Meerschaum Acorn. And this one, it has a bit of interesting history. First off, this pipe was actually purchased at the tobacco shop in Old Town in San Diego. I can't remember what it was called, but Aristocob was just there. And I got really excited to see the inside of that building again. Yeah, I saw the pictures from the inside, and it was like, oh, I swear I've been there before. Welcome to the show. So anyways, I got this pipe as a replacement for another corn cob that I had gotten in San Diego before that particular patrol that I got this one on. So we were headed out on patrol, and I decided I was going to get my first corn cob pipe. So what did I get? What was it? It was the Bent Diplomat, I think, was the original pipe that I got. It's basically a cylinder on the end of a shank. And I smoked the living piss out of it. I had never smoked corn cob before. I didn't know what I was doing. And I smoked it to death, and I mean that literally. So I'm walking around in Mexico with this pipe hanging out of my mouth on my fourth bowl straight. And the bottom suddenly gets really, really hot, and steam and smoke start coming out of the bottom of it. And I turn it up to look, and all of the tobacco just falls right out the bottom of this soggy pipe. It made me very sad. So I didn't have a corn cob pipe for the rest of the patrol. So the next time we pulled in on our way back home, I got this one. And I resolved to never smoke it more than once a day. And I have not. And for all this pipe's flaws, it is an excellent smoker. And paid $12 for it in a retail shop. And I'm willing to bet money that it was a second that I overpaid for. But it still smokes great. And I'll show you why I think it was a second. First off, if you look right here, you probably won't be able to see it. It's not going to focus that close. Oh, I'm on the wrong side anyway. So these imperfections and stuff right there, they actually create a crack right along the top of the shank where it goes in. You can't really see it, but it's there. Had me a little bit concerned, but it's never given me any problems. The other reason I think that it was probably a second is that big bastard right there. Alright, the dowel in the bottom had apparently chipped all the way around the outside of itself. But I like the shape of this pipe. I really wanted a corn cob pipe, so I got it anyway, knowing that it was defective. Now, it leaked air at first, but after about 6 months of burning about a bowl a day through it, the tobacco wedged in all around the shank, and since I only smoke English blends, it never really threw off the flavor. So the tobacco got packed in around the shank, and then I just continued to smoke over it, and now the bottom of the bowl has caked in such a manner that it just looks like the bottom of a briar pipe. So a couple of years of smoking out of this thing, and it still smokes great. I just did a video the other day talking about reaming it, and the pipe cake on the inside of it actually maintains the texture of the corn cob, even though you don't go all the way down to the corn cob when you're reaming. So it really threw me. I thought I was hitting cob, but I wasn't. So, save me from destroying that pipe. We are at, I want to say 77 subscribers last I checked. So I'm getting nice and close. Hey, what's happening? Getting pretty close to doing my giveaway, which I'm very excited about. I won't tell you exactly what I'm going to be giving away in my giveaway, but we'll just say that it is something that I made myself, and I carried it around with me all over North and South America for 2 years. It's very special, but I don't have any need for it here because I don't travel around with much of my pipe stuff anymore. So I don't use it, but I would like to see it continue to get used. And obviously, if I don't use it, it's not my super cool bullet casing tampers. I'm just waiting for the other casing for this guy so I can hammer them together, and then I'll have 2 of them. However, I am likely to wind up giving one of those away at some point. They're super easy to make, and hey, why not, right? So my tobacco plants have sprouted. A lot of them have anyways. My yellow Orinoco has just barely started to put down roots, and I've got these tiny little pinprick leaves coming off of my Virginias. It's very exciting stuff. And for those of you who don't know, I planted those Monday. So from Monday to Friday, I now have sprouted plants. So, I'm back. What I got is a nifty little invention of my own, I thought, anyways. So, seed starter. Yeah, it just looks like an egg carton, right? That's because that's exactly what it is. So what you do to make this wonderful little invention, take your razor knife and you cut these bastards off short. All right, so that they don't stick up a half a mile like they do while there's eggs in it. Then you take a pencil and you punch out the bottoms of all these, and it'll leave little paper tabs on the inside, and you pull those out. Then you cut the lid off of them. Insert, fill with dirt, set in a tray. Now this whole thing's going to wind up getting soggy, but I don't care. Set it in like a tray, cookie sheet, plastic tray, whatever, and then water it, and most of that water, you can water it right in through here. The whole thing will get soggy as all hell, but it doesn't really matter because it's sitting in a tray anyway. And I've got 2 of those. One for my excess Virginia and one for my excess Orinoco. So I am effectively going to be doubling my tobacco plants at a minimum from 12 to 24. And if I get more egg cartons before I weed them out, I will add another 12 or another 24 of them. Okay, so I don't math so good apparently. I'm going from 24 to 48, and then I'll add another 24 on top of that if I get more egg cartons, because I don't math so good. So I'm going to do a quick little talk about this guy right here. Blue Magic by Right Brain Brewery. It is I have no idea where these guys are out of. Traverse City, Michigan. As far as I can tell, they are this is a seasonal brew. And it is, as you can see, lavender. I was a little on the skeptical side when I first picked this stuff up. Lavender beer? No way. But I love lavender and I love beer. Why not? So I picked it up and I really, really enjoyed it. So if you like, light body beers, got a tidbit of an alcohol type punch to it, and the lavender flavor is nice and subtle, so it's not like you're sipping on a straight lavender flower. And you've got yourself a rather pleasant little drink that goes surprisingly good with an English blend. Typically, my English is I like to pair with scotch, porters, and stouts. Not all mixed together, that would be disgusting, but they do really good with full-bodied beers, or a nice hearty smoky scotch. It keeps with the smoky texture of the whole thing. And that's the way I like to do it. Now, if I'm going to be drinking whatever, I'll normally go with something aromatic, something that's really easy. Lane, plum cake, 1Q specifically. Plum cake. Maybe a little Irish oak. I'm actually not even sure what's in Irish oak. But to the guys that were watching, if you watch the rest of this later, I bid you a good evening, and welcome to the newcomer or the returner. It doesn't tell me who shows up on here, so I don't know who's here unless they, oh my God, Earth is flat. NASA is faking. I sense a troll. I am familiar with the theory. Your theory is incorrect, and I can argue it all night, and it's fantastic to do so. And basically, my biggest thing about the whole flat Earth idea is if the Earth was flat and NASA was faking it, come on, really? How are that many people going to keep it quiet? The CIA specializes in secrets and can't even keep their fucking mouths shut. So, I don't buy it. I've seen the horizon. I know what's on the other side of it because, well, I kind of stare at it for a living. Horizon level. Are you even a pipe smoker, Eyes? Or did you just come onto a random live video to troll? Oh, okay. So, my take on the whole flat Earth thing. I am a seafaring man. I have spent many countless hours staring at the horizon because it was the most interesting thing in my vicinity. Months at a time, okay? And when we're out at sea, when we're reporting contacts, we have a very specific way of calling out other vessels on the horizon. You have hull up and hull down. Now, when you use very large magnification to look at a very large ship very far out on the horizon, you can actually see the horizon up over the letters of the ship, but the rest of the superstructure will stick up over it. And I know what you're liable to say. It's not the atmospheric disturbance caused by the heat waves that make it look like there's an invisible spot. No, sometimes that is the case. And that actually creates a really interesting effect where the legend of the Flying Dutchman comes from. I'll talk about that in a second. But no, I've actually seen things on the other side of the horizon. 8 inches per mile, then the horizon should never be at eye level. but it's not. It's the horizon's not at eye level. The horizon's always slightly below you. But you're looking at 8 inches per mile, and if you're standing roughly and roundabouts, say we'll go with an average 40 feet. The horizon is typically, you're seeing it about 15 miles out from the deck of a ship. And I've confirmed that by radar. I've seen ships that, I've actually watched a ship transition from hull down, which means here's your horizon and here's the ship, to hull up. Okay? I've seen the transition, so I know there's curvature there because I've seen it with my own eyes. Now, the Flying Dutchman is a really, really interesting legend. Now, the Flying Dutchman is a ship that floats in the sky. And it was a thing of legends for many, many years, many, many sailors. And sailors are a very superstitious lot by nature. And what'll happen is the heat waves off of the water will actually create an atmospheric disturbance, and the humidity that is in the air will actually create a reflection. Mark Sargent. Okay. I watch Cool Hard Logic too. He makes a lot of good points in that one. Cool Hard Logic actually is anti-flat Earth, but the Flying Dutchman, it does there's a really interesting phenomenon, and I've only ever seen it twice. But it's the legend of a flying ship that's crewed by the damned, or it's a ghost ship or something like that, but it's a ship that actually flies. And the humidity in the air will actually reflect the upside down reflection of the ship. So the ship will be floating, and it'll have a reflection that comes off onto the water, and that reflection will be upside down. And the humidity in the air will actually reflect that reflection, and it will make a ship appear to be flying through the air, and it is beyond cool. And it's knowing about it and seeing it, man, it's really, really interesting stuff to see. There are things I've seen out at sea that I cannot even begin to explain. I've seen what we got? Thing about the flat Earth theory. Can I explain airplanes? There's fear around. Kinda. I mean, we could sit here and debate flat Earth all night. I've even had seen somebody try to argue that a plane could not land on a north to south trajectory because the actual planet would spin out from underneath it, but then you start getting into relative air movement. What's going on, Clint? Good to see you here. But we're talking flat Earth right now, in case you were wondering. But things like that have a tendency to disregard the relative motion of the air to the ground, which is what we're playing off of. If you ever watch a flight pattern from a plane, see a laid out flight pattern from a plane, the flight patterns are actually curved because they allot for the trajectory of the Earth. Which I think is quite interesting. It blew me away the first time I saw it. Oh, by the way, Clint, my backy sprouted. And I've got a couple of trays set up once they get big enough to start moving around a little bit. And I'm going to have, at a minimum, hopefully, I'll have 48 plants. I'll have 24 of the Virginia and 24 of the yellow Orinoco. Oh, what's going on? For those of you who don't know, Rob Malilay, the guy that just posted a comment, he is the guy that I was talking about in my original video, talking about planning all of this stuff. He has got a couple of his own blends, or his own tobaccos that he's had seeds for years. And he's the one that I'm going to be doing the exchange with. Given that his harvest is good and my harvest is good. And of course, Clint, you will be getting some because I'm really interested to see what you'll do with it. Yeah, I really do hope they get to maturity. I'm probably going to plant outside late in the summer, strictly because this winter has been wild. It was 70 degrees yesterday, and here I am standing in the garage with a heater on the floor going, freezing my butt off. Huh. Have a good one. So, this weather has been out of control. We've got an ice storm apparently about to be coming in down here. That the power company actually sent out warnings that there's a distinct possibility for power outages at this ice storm. It's brutal, for Christ's sake. Anyways, so I'm probably going to wait until later in the season until all this craziness and hullabaloo is blown over. Well, that's true, whatever you are acclimated to. I mean, I've been swimming in ice water, and I can go outside short sleeves in 33, but I'm not comfortable in it. I wonder who just joined up. So, I'm gonna be waiting until late in the season to get my stuff actually out in the dirt, and I just hope they survive that long because my wife tried to kill my tomatoes over the last duty rotation. She didn't water them. So I've got a whole bunch of wilty tomatoes down there, and I think I'm going to be able to, out of the 24 that wilted, I think there's only going to be, like, that actually come out of it. I had to replant most of them. So that'll be fun. Oh, dear God. In case you ever get an opportunity, Clint, I know you like your craft beers. If you want something really original and interesting, this stuff right here, Right Brain Brewery. It's out of Michigan. I don't know how far out they ship, but if you get an opportunity, it's a lavender beer, which is a really bizarre flavor, but it's absolutely outstanding. I love this stuff. Right now, I'm smoking a little bit of my Medal of Valor from Lane Limited. No. It's alright. You have a good one, Clint. We'll catch you on your next video. But, we got this, Medal of Valor. Absolutely outstanding stuff. I believe the community has a tendency to call these, kitchen sink blends because they have everything but the kitchen sink in them. Reading the description, it's got Virginias, Burleys, Perique, Latakia. I think it even said it had some Oriental in there. It's a good blend, though. Got a really unique and interesting flavor. Burning down the cob tonight. Don't give this thing as much exercise as I probably should. So, at least the flat earth conversation is over. Because that one can have a tendency to get out of hand real quick. But I guess my connectivity is doing pretty good, and I've probably used up enough data for tonight. So, I'm going to get off of here and go back to trolling the internet for a little while I finish what's left of this bowl. And I will catch you guys next time I'm chilling in the garage. Have a good one.